in the middle of a volatile trading situation. By that, I mean we're trading Bitcoin. But what we're doing is entered a long a couple days ago, been long ever since. Title of the video is, I think I went long. So easy to find. Now, what we're going to do is see what's going on now, see where we've gone since then, and hang around for a little bit. Happy to answer questions, very Bitcoin loungy format. And I look forward to seeing you guys join me and chat it up in the comments. Yeah, let's get to hanging out. So let me get to screen share now, and let's do a little recap of what we have. Long sideways channel, dual band confluence, which we discussed this morning. Dual band confluence, which we discussed this morning. Now it's widening in favor of the bulls. Made our way back close to 30,000. It's looking okay. Look, we still have a dual band confluence. This is something that we can work with. As long as things stay like this, I'm going to have a little bit more faith that we can pop back into the 30,000s and even start reclaiming some of, oh shit, and we left a CME gap. I was going to say, and we can reclaim some of this lost turf over here in the 31,925 space. Now, that's annoying to see that we've left a CME gap to the downside. Don't even really know where that happened. 6 p.m. West, Midwest time. So whatever, we'll have to take a look. I don't think this is quite an exit. We could drop this down and see if we had any signals on the 5-second as we approach this line. This horizontal, yeah, I'm not seeing anything. The chart isn't loading back that far back, but I'm not seeing anything. In fact, we have a dual band confluence, so I wouldn't expect to see anything. RSI is nuked right now. We've gone from top to bottom. I think we should be starting to normalize over here now. I'm going to start getting this link to Twitter and to my Telegram group. There's that. And let's see here. Yo, what's up, John? What's up, Bitcoin motorist? And I will also say that I shipped out the gifts for anyone that was a winner for the Bitcoin Fudbusters trading cards. I sent out the gifts today, so hopefully you receive those in the next, probably 5 to 7 business days type thing. But we'll see. All right, let's see who joins us. You guys feel free to ask any question you may have. We talk about anything. Talk about anything in here. You want to talk about life, we talk about life. You want to talk about the trade, we talk about the trade. If you guys got a question, you just ask. Talk about society, talk about how to approach people and break out of your comfort zone of being a little too quiet in life and a little too isolated. Talk about, we used to have some great conversations, especially earlier this year. I miss those. Cupcake was one of those guys. I remember his name. We had a lot of good topics to discuss outside the charts. So I got my son here playing Harry Potter in the other room. He's chilling, so I have a little bit of time and I'll be able to pop in and out, chat here for a bit. If I need to go help him, I'll go help him real quick. Probably cook dinner at some point a bit later. But we did eat a little bit already. Yeah, I should light up a cigar. It was a little overcast and slightly rainy today, but we are now sunny. It's a little late in the day to enjoy a cigar on the balcony. I don't know how cold it is, but might be a good opportunity for me to set up a laptop out there too and chill for a bit. Let's see what happens. Okay. Again, if you guys have anything you want to discuss, throw it my way. John, motorist, whatever you guys want to talk about, throw it in the chats. There's only so much that can come up off the top of my head. I will talk a little bit about BlackRock and stuff like that. A lot of people are talking about ETFs, and that's been a topic, conversation topic for many years. We did just fully close the gap. Let's see. It might take a bit to refresh, but yeah. A lot of people are worried about SEC, BlackRock, white collars getting in Bitcoin. First and most importantly, they've probably already been around for a long time. They've probably been accumulating ever since CME futures came out. So we have that to take note of. The worst case scenario really is just that white collars have been buying Bitcoin, and by the time money is a Bitcoin standard emerges, some of these more parasitic entities against the human race will have accumulated mass sums of Bitcoin. But that's just nothing we can really fight over, nothing we can do. They have to worry about their security, and if there's, good guys in the future that are fighting bad guys, then the security of that Bitcoin is really important. Joe, are you a scalper? Bitcoin motorist asks. Yes, my natural state of trade is scalping. Am I currently a scalper? No, I've been in a swing the past few days. Will I be a scalper if I find a good exchange with low fees? Maybe. John, for some reason, CME is not live trading view right now. Yeah, it happens. I don't expect a lot of things to have real-time data. So let's just give it some time to resolve. If we know, we know. That's what matters. No, I'm gonna grab a little hoodie. Yeah, what's up? Oh, nice. Good. All right, got my nice cozy hoodie on. Other topics of discussion. I think the RSI is considered to me as very close to a standalone indicator. I like it a lot. We're not nuked. We're grinding the bottom of the RSI. We can neutralize by going sideways, but probably not going to happen. Interesting. My thing popped off. All right, so yep, I'm just gonna hang out for a little bit. I figured I would try different hours of the day to see who's around. This is the evening, East Coast is 7 o'clock, 7:30 right now. West Coast is 4:30. So we'll see who shows up. You guys know that the lounge is one of my favorite shows, but it's at its best when there's a lot of comments, so I can really talk about the issues that you guys bring up. What else do we have going on in the Bitcoin community? Lightning Network. I think Brian Armstrong was talking about crypto adoption and stuff like that with Coinbase. There was some obvious talk about Lightning Network for that reason. Yeah, I guess it's not big enough point to talk about. Let's take a look at some other stuff though. We still have XRP up here. I don't really want to be looking at XRP. Mikey J asks, is this a good place to add to my Bitcoin position? I don't have signals anymore, so my personal rule would be not to take a trade without signals, and I might take a trade with RSI. Now we have some RSI action, and that's up to you to consider. I'm a big fan of the RSI 13. Why are we bugging over here, guys? Why are we bugging? I'm a big fan of the RSI. So is it cooked? Is it a decent place to take along? Maybe based on that. Can I say for you, Mikey? I don't know. What are your indicators? What do your indicators say? And then let's talk about what your indicators say and what you would typically do. One thing that you have to be as a trader is a robot. You have to eliminate all emotion. So I'm curious to hear what strategy, other than listening to me, you have. It's very important for you to trust yourself more than everyone else. There's not a single analyst that you should trust more than yourself. Obviously, I'm here to help and I'm here to give my best advice, best outlook. But I think it's important for every single one of you as analysts to analyze everything and to trust your own mind more than you trust anyone else's. LT, what's up, brother? So yeah, Mikey, when you get a sec, why don't we talk about your chart, talk about what you see, and then we'll talk about my thoughts on your chart. Happy to do that. I think that's a good, healthy way to teach. Mhm. Yep, I'm happy to be out the cities. Cities seem to be getting worse and worse. A lot of druggies just riddled across the streets. Then like, I'm talking zombie druggies. Zombie druggies are around, man. San Francisco's looking terrible. New York City has this is something really interesting. There's been a lot of shootings, a lot of unfortunate events going on, and they're all basically illegally obtained guns. So I think it's really unfortunate that people that have such malicious intent, and with all the things going on in the world, there's a lot of racism these days, and a lot of people that are doing things out of just straight up race and hate based intent. So I think it's unfortunate that a lot of these people can just walk around to the local freaking corner store that sells cigarettes and liquor, and they can find out pretty quickly where to get something that can cause damage. And I'm happy to be outside of a city. I think even though there's a lot of gun crime across the states, I think if you remove like the top 5 cities, New York, LA, like Minneapolis, Chicago, if you remove like 5 of the biggest cities, the gun crime basically goes down to negligible. So it's all this crazy shit going on in the cities. I strongly encourage people to get out of the city. If you're in one or near one, it's probably not a good place to be. John says, LT says, John, my CME feed is working. Let me just see if I refresh this, if anything happens. Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll give it time. We'll give it time. So I'm really happy to have left the city. I think cities are only going to get worse, and that's just gun crime. Imagine all the other weird stuff going on. You had for Pride Month, you had freaking the crazy weirdos marching in the street saying we're coming for your kids. I think that's really weird. Let's see here, John, Mikey. I'm looking at the RSI and just trying to find a solid lower risk entry point for a long position in Bitcoin. How long term are we talking, Mikey? A scalp, a swing, a 6-month, a general buy. Let's see, a long position. So I'm going to assume you mean, generally speaking, a trade. I think it's important if you're a trader, right? There's two types of people. There's traders and there's analysts. A trader needs to have about 5 points of a strategy ready to roll the second you press a buy or sell button. You need to have an entry, you need to have a stop loss, you need to have an exit, you need to have a double down, you need to have a take profit. Entry, exit, stop loss. Double down, take profit. So unless you have a strategy that in your mind, if I press buy, I know this, I know this, I know this, right? Unless you have all that set up, then you're probably not a trader. You probably need to think more like an investor until you're able to think like a trader. If I'm thinking like an investor, I'm thinking like the next 3 to 6 months. And as an investor, I'm thinking, what am I getting into? And how long until things will roll up in my favor, right? An investor is kind of fundamentally based, and then secondary is the money, right? For this argument's sake, let's just go with that. So as an investor, I think you should be thinking more to the point of less the entry in the next 2-3 days and more the entry in the next 2-3 months. If you're looking at the next 2-3 months, I'd be curious to hear your take. RSI on a 5-minute, it can be a good trade. It can be a good trade for 3 months, 6 years, 10, 20 million years, who knows? But I still think it's important for you to have a good vision. And I'm not trying to pick you apart here. What I want is to build with you. I want you to share with me your thoughts, and we can expand upon them and build, and hopefully more people can learn the proper psychology of someone that's spending money on something with the intent for it to grow. So let's see what we get. I mean, look, we're just going tick by tick here. The aggregations, top 3 aggregations on either side of the book are pretty insignificant. They're not really moving, but they're also, I don't think they're very static. I think that they're willing to move. I'm glad to see that the buy side is stacked a little more heavily. Sid Little, good morning. It's 12:30 a.m. in London right now. Hope all is well. Good evening to you, Sid Little. Thank you for joining us, and feel free to ask any question you may have, and happy to answer, do the absolute best I possibly can to help. Sid Little, thanks for joining, man. Mikey, yes, I'm thinking longer term. I'm concerned about having money sit idle in a bank. That is a conversation topic. Losing value as opposed to investing in something like Bitcoin. So Mikey, we're going to take that for a ride, everything you said. First and most important thing you can do as a Bitcoiner is dollar cost average. I have very little faith in fiat money. I think it's important to get out of fiat. I think 2 options exist there. 2 prime options exist. Silver, because it's down 50% from its all-time high, versus gold, which is at around all-time highs. But before that, you probably have Bitcoin. Bitcoin is down 50+% from its all-time high right now as well. So I do think it's valuable to be invested in something that you can physically use. If you have to jump in your car and escape, you can obviously do that with Bitcoin. But hey, what are you going to do at a border, if you have to cross a border or some shit, and no one knows what Bitcoin is just yet, or on that route, well, you can toss some silver coins, gold coins, a ring, a necklace. You can get your way through a lot of things. In fact, a lot of Jews in the Holocaust, that's what they had to use, diamond jewelry and all that kind of stuff in order to sneak out and hide and so forth. So I think it's important to have two things, especially considering the volatility of the dollar and the complete lack of faith in it. So I would say, is now a good time to buy? Sure. Do you want to blow your load and buy every dollar's worth of Bitcoin that you possibly can right now? Depends on your financial situation. If you're alone, you got a lot of money, you got a lot, you can write it out, then probably something you can do. You can probably be more heavily exposed. It just depends on your way of life and your standard of living and all these things. Do I think it's wise for Bitcoin? I mean, look, I think it's smart. The dollar is collapsing. Banks aren't giving out as much cash anymore. Banks aren't safe. We've seen a handful of banks collapse this year and late last year. So I absolutely think there are reasons to fear the dollar, to fear fiat currencies around the world, and reasons to, as a result of that fear, invest in things like Bitcoin and metals. As far as a year to 18 months being my time horizon, now is an absolutely fantastic time to buy Bitcoin. At this price, we're probably going to see over the next handful of months, 3 months, a rise to somewhere around $40,000+. We'll probably see a pullback all the way down. I mean, what I see happening is actually a cut through this area, a move up to fill this CME gap, and a return all the way back to this $20,000 CME gap. I absolutely see something like that panning out over the pre-halving. Well, this is early 2024. I could see us going sideways a long time. I just think that historically we've had a lot of runs, and being that there's a lot of manipulation in this market, I would expect there to be a big move to the upside. But who knows? Maybe the proportions are different with Bitcoin at a different market cap. Whereas in 2019, April 2nd, 2019, we bought out of the bottom at $3,000 something, made our way to 5,000 pretty much in a 24-hour period, got all the way up to 14,000 as a result of Tether printing a ton of unbacked tethers and funneling that money into their other company, Bitfinex, their exchange, and just robbing people of their Bitcoin in order to pay off debts that they had around the world because their money was getting seized. So we saw something like that with Binance, and a lot of tethers and Binance USD being printed a number of months ago, and I think that's a large part of why we were able to pump out of the 16, 17, 18,000 range, and not let's say just pump out of there, but maintain a pretty constant price. We didn't really do too much. We had a little volatility coming out of that, up to 25 or 28, back to 20, back to 25. There's a couple zips along that route, but we're going steady at plus or minus 30K. So it's interesting. I think that we would have seen something a little more similar to that exact formula, and we did, but it just didn't go as high as I thought. So for the next 18 months to a year, what do we have going on? A year from now, we're after the halving. After the halving, historically, probably go sideways a couple more months, and then we start going vertical. So as far as a year from now, I think it's a good decision. As far as 18 months from now, I think it's a fantastic decision, because historically, 18 months from a bull market, 18 months from now, let's say that'll be 7 months after the halving, whatever, 8 months after the halving. By then we'll probably be in the middle of a wild bull cycle. An awesome move to the upside. Probably see triple digit Bitcoin. In all likelihood, we'll be at triple digit Bitcoin. New all-time highs, repeated new all-time highs, moves to the upside, 30% pullback, massive run back up, 30%, 20% pullback, move up, 20% pullback, and then eventually we'll start seeing that whole run start to wane, and hopefully we'll have the language and the charts that signal our exit. The formula is pretty constant for Bitcoin. Sid Little, what's your perspective on all the pro Bitcoin stuff out the mouths of the legacy finance right now, especially BlackRock? What are they up to? Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. I don't know everything, but what I do think is that white collars have been around probably since the introduction of the CME Bitcoin futures. So I think white collars have been around a little while. The ETF stuff, I mean, what I actually think is that a lot of this stuff is just pump and dump news. I think very wealthy people have a difficult time liquidating their assets and purchasing their assets. And so what they need to do is control the, ebb and flow of the media. And in doing so, they'll be able to get markets to dump into their bags, or maybe they can start dumping and throw out some article to make it seem like it was a market-wide dump. They can say, oh, hey, ETF was rejected, and like say they dump their bags. Well, very possible that to everyone else, they might just see that as a market-wide panic. Whereas someone like me can look at it as a precision missile. So perspective on the pro Bitcoin stuff, I think things are looking good. I think all this stuff to me is mostly irrelevant. They're not here to save Bitcoin, but it's good in the sense that it's a scarce asset. And guess what? They have to play by the same rules that you do. Maybe they can manipulate markets. Maybe they can do this and that. They can manipulate the news and get people to sell off or what have you. But they still have to buy a scarce asset. The same way that you have to buy it, they have to buy it in order to own it. And let's just say own the private keys to a stack of Bitcoin. Let's make the very immediate distinction that you can't ever own Bitcoin. It's always on the network. So that's my grand scheme of things perspective. I really do think a lot of these news articles that come out, like think about the FTX scenario, for example. FTX is illiquid, and all of a sudden the market has a massive move down, like a 10 to 15% move down from a bottom range. It was already a bear market bottom looking zone, and then it had a capitulation. Well, if FTX was and all the customers were locked out of their account, then how in the world did it make sense that there was a mass sell-off? First off, the only thing that would make sense is if there is bad news of an FTX collapse, wouldn't people want to just withdraw their Bitcoin? Why sell it? It makes no sense. Why would I try to sell my Bitcoin on an exchange that is illiquid, or whatever the case was at the time, whatever the news was saying? So I believe 100% that was market manipulation through the use of the media. I think whales wanted to dump their bags or something like that, and they sold into a massive pocket of liquidity, or a whale, something big happened. It had nothing to do with the wider market. Think about this again. An exchange is bankrupt, it's illiquid, whatever you want to say. They've been funneling money out. XYZ, your Bitcoin that you thought you had in the exchange is no longer there, and you can't even log in to sell it. There's no reason the market should have tanked. Zero reason. Why would you tank the market if you were on Binance, if your money was in Binance? First off, why would you tank the market? Why would you sell your Bitcoin and withdraw, and then try to withdraw your money? Because you have to sell the Bitcoin and then have the exchange submit some sort of withdrawal request to their processing department to start sending the money back to your account, which is probably going to take days, versus the withdrawal of your Bitcoin, which would probably take hours or less. So yeah, you guys, you got to think about this. All these news articles to me are nothing more than whale manipulation schemes. I hope someone else sees that. I mean, I feel like it's so bright and obvious that it's scary. And guess what else is bright and obvious? We play the same pattern every single time. You guys, Bitcoin does the same thing like every 5 years. It goes up, maybe not every 5 years, every 3 years. It goes up vertically. It has a long drawn out bear market, and then it goes up vertically to new all-time highs. And then it has a long drawn out bear market, and then it goes up vertically. And each time you got a ton more users, and you got a tabletop conversation, and you have everyone congratulating you. And then for the next 2 years, you have everyone asking you, hey, are you okay? It's the same formula every single time, and it works, and they're probably going to keep working it until it stops working. Right now, I don't see any reason for the cycle to look any different than it already has. So many times before. So what else do you guys got for me? Sid Little, you got anything you want to talk about? I prefer some sort of conversation fodder from you guys. Helps me. I know it's late by you, Sid Little. I don't know what, are you a night owl over there trading? John, once my mother gets bullish, it's over. Well, yeah, think about what happened last time. It probably was 30,000 to 40,000 range priced Bitcoin at all-time highs when people started doing laser eyes. Once laser eyes came on, I knew we were in an emotional situation, an emotional buying behavior. And this is the formula too. Emotional buying leads to emotional selling. So the second you have people buying on emotion, no technicals, there's absolutely no technicals in all-time high space. The only thing you might have is the order book. And so there's no technicals that exist. There's all technicals basically use lagging data to try to predict the future within reason. And an all-time high is out of reason. It's above where your projections can be pointing up, but then once it gets to an all-time high, how much higher does it go? Are you going to use some dumb fib line, that says, oh, there's an extension up here and this is the highest we can go? Maybe that's the closest thing you have, but overall, all-time high space is a complete theoretical territory. Every single seller is selling to cap the price without any sort of price discovery, and every single buyer is buying to pump the price. And well, that's what they're doing, is they're buying and they're pumping the price with no price discovery. These all-time highs in Bitcoin go very far, very fast. So emotional buying, it will lead to emotional selling. And that's why we have the crazy bull markets and bear markets we get in Bitcoin, because there's so much more stubbornness of a Bitcoin investor. There's so much hope behind what Bitcoin can accomplish for the world. Decentralized, peer-to-peer, anonymous cash. Bitcoin can change the world in almost every paradigm. Politically, it can change how taxes are collected and how elected officials need to behave in order to receive tax money. It can change the way churches are run. Who wants to give tithes to a nasty church doing nasty things once they actually have a scarce amount of very valuable asset? It can change the way, so that could change the way religion shapes in the future. It could change the way sciences are shaped, because we're teaching kids about freaking up is down and down is up, and 2 + 2 can equal 5, but that's also racism. There all these schools are getting paid by the government, which steals money from its citizens through taxation. So I think it's a lot of paradigms can change as a result of it being a Bitcoin holder, investor, and a Bitcoin standard in the world. Now, Joe, Bitcoin Motorist, asks, why is it important to get out of your comfort zone? The simple answer is because the only way for you to grow is through some sort of discomfort. Every single movie, every single hero has a great disfigurement. V for Vendetta, it's the explosion. He's genetically experimented on with with a injection and ends up getting superpowers but loses all, his freedom, and a mass explosion is his only way out. And in V for Vendetta, his great disfigurement is that explosion. He forever has to wear a mask and gloves, or else he exposes his terrible burns. In Iron Man, it was a kidnapping and held hostage for him to create a missile in a cave, where he then decided to create a suit of iron that he can escape and get to safety. In Captain America, it was a super soldier serum that required immense bravery and pain to go through in order for him to come out the other side of this rebirth a stronger man. We can go down the list. In order to be a better fighter, you have to take a punch. You can't fear punches. Take 10,000 punches, you'll realize they aren't shit. You don't need that many to know that they aren't shit. But it's important to get out of your comfort zone, because if all you ever do is stay in your comfort zone, you're never going to grow to your maximum potential. So it is imperative that if life is not giving you the lemons to create the discomfort in your life, then create it yourself. Go to the gym. Get to the point where you're working out where you can't do any more push-ups, but you do 5 more. That's those 5 more push-ups, those 5 are what are going to make you be able to do 5 more the next time. If I do 10 push-ups every single day, I'm never going to get to a point where I'm absolutely at my strongest. I'm only going to absolutely get to my strongest if I'm pushing myself and I do those extra 5 that I thought were impossible. And then guess what? A few days from then, I'll do the 5 more that I'll be able to do that like it's normal. And then I'll be able to add 5 more that I thought were impossible. So you continuously gain strength, you grow. And why is it important to grow? Because you guys, I think life is some weird little simulation test. And the purpose of this test, game, simulation is, despite all the distractions and all the things you have around you and all the needs and wants you may have, you are a virtuous human being who's able to give without thought of reward, who's able to maintain your integrity in the eye of the storm, maintain your bravery and your courage. And we've seen that over the past couple of years with all the influences telling you to do what to your body. There's a lot of things that if I was God and I had a society that was as simple as God says in Matthew, I think it's 6:6, ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be open to you. If I had a kingdom where everything was not scarce, especially things like that matter, if I had a kingdom where ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be open to you, any knowledge is yours, any pile of gold is yours, this house, if I had a kingdom where everything was that, ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be open to you, I would absolutely run every person through the grinder. I would make sure that they, with $0 left in their pocket, if someone comes and asks them for water, they're willing to give their last drop. If they ask for $1, they're willing to give their last dollar, because I'm willing to give you my last. So I want to make sure you're willing to give your last. I want to make sure that you're able to walk until your feet don't work anymore, because I would do that for you. So I think it's very important to bend out of your comfort zone, because in the kingdom of God, He's going to give everything to you. Anything that you want, ask. I think it's very important for you to learn how to absolutely give everything that you possibly have inside of your system, inside of your soul, to serve the greater good of the community. And in that community, that should be worth protecting with every ounce of your soul essence. Every meaning of your being should be able to equate to the need to uphold such a beautiful society. So that's why I think it's important to bend out of your comfort zone. What else do we want to talk about, guys? That was a good question, Bitcoin motorist. Thanks for bringing that up. Thank you for asking that. Thank you for bringing it up. Happy to serve, guys. It is my purpose. So, what else do we want to do here? I might wrap it up here. I think we had a good time. Everyone, I hope you all are in constant pursuit of the mastery of yourself. Talked about this a good bit today, reasons why. I hope you hear those words and they inspire you to be the absolute best version of yourself that you can be, to find your flaws and to realize that there's more you can do to pursue the mastery of yourself. Yeah, I hope you guys really take it upon yourselves and realize that you are the leader of your own life. You have to do all this yourself, right? Bend out your comfort zone, just take charge, compare yourself to yourself. And what I mean by that is to look at the parts of yourself that need improvement and to just refuse to be the same person every day. Refuse to just let that little flaw exist. Your mind is your greatest muscle. It can change your entire reality and arguably even the reality around you. So make sure you use your mind to do these things. Well, you know what? We got a few things. We got a few people talking about comments. I'm gonna bring those up. I noticed your guitars in the backdrop. Mikey J asked, what kind of music are you into? I'm into classic rock as far as guitar is concerned. Classic rock, Jimi Hendrix. There's a lot of really beautiful guitarists out there. I really like classic rock. Pink Floyd, one of the best bands. Jimi Hendrix, one of the greatest guitarists. Stevie Ray Vaughan. I'm trying to think, if I picked up a guitar right now, what would I play? I actually play ukulele more these days. I just like chilling on ukulele. I like a lot of music, but to chill and just relax to some music, I like a lot of lo-fi hip hop type stuff. Sometimes I like classical piano. There's some really good classical piano on. Yo, what's up, Mo? Yo, Mo, what's up, brother? I'm so happy to see you. It's great to see you on my channel here. I'm glad that you found me, and much love to you, brother. I hope all is well. Let's see here. So anyways, yeah, I like a lot of good stuff. Yeah, Pink Floyd is fucking, and Sid Little, right? Sid Barrett. Back in the old days. There's a lot of good bands. Led Zeppelin, Since I've Been Loving You is a fantastic blues song. Amazing, one of the greatest. Shine On You Crazy Diamond, one of the greatest songs. Yeah, there's so many beautiful classic rock songs out there. I don't really like too much modern stuff, but I do like some lo-fi hip hop, chill beats to just vibe out to. I love some soundtracks to some video games. Transistor, the video game. I like some Legend of Zelda beats. But yeah, that's my music stuff. Goal is to get into heaven, but to be in the presence of wherever that may be. 100% LT. Who knows? It might be a blank screen, and you might be conscious. You have to learn how to absolutely handle everything in your mind. Make sure that your mind is a superpower. Make sure that it can handle every situation. Isolation, freaking pitch black isolation. Who knows what happens? But I do believe in that matter, energy, neither created nor destroyed, and I believe your soul is a type of energy. And there are of known frequencies in the universe. Our entire existence, I believe, is within the electromagnetic spectrum, our visual existence, and stuff like that. And amongst known frequencies in the universe is like 1/10,000th or 1,000th of a percent. So our entire red, blue, green spectrum of visible light in our eyes is not even, it's nothing. It's a pin, it's a needle in a massive haystack. So I do believe matter neither being created nor destroyed is I think the soul is something. I think it's something. I think it's matter, some way, shape, or form. And I believe that it does go somewhere. Yeah, I think, and so I do think that you need to learn to handle absolutely everything you possibly can in this life, because who knows what the next one has to offer. Who knows, what are you going to get dropped into the next, version, another human life? Are you going to be, I don't know, what if we freaking come out and we wake up and we've been in a video game, and who knows, man. So I don't really know what 100% what comes out the other end. I believe it is God and the kingdom he describes. But I think it's important for you to obtain as many epiphanies and strengths as you possibly can, because you have no idea what's waiting for you on the other side. At the end of the day, we only know what we read and what we're told. We haven't experienced it. So I think it's wise to be prepared for any eventuality, assuming that with the strong assumption that matter is neither created nor destroyed, you will go somewhere. What do I think about Doge and X? I think X is interesting. I think Elon Musk does like his Doge. We'll have to see. He was the biggest pumper dumper for a while back in the bull run. Yo, what's up, Mo? Okay, I miss you. Yeah, man, Mo. Hope to see you in Vegas at Unconfiscatable. What have you thought about going to Vegas for Unconfiscatable, man? Let me know. Howlin' Wolf. I don't know who that is. Sid Barrett lived in Cambridge. Used to live around the corner from him. Interesting, Sid Little. Yeah, Sid Little, Sid Vicious. Anyways, yeah, Sid Barrett, man, he went crazy. He died a number of years back, maybe 10 years ago now. But yeah, he went crazy doing too much acid, and yeah, he Shine On You Crazy Diamond was actually written about him. So he is a man who lost his mind to drugs completely. Yeah, information cannot be destroyed. Information cannot be destroyed. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, truth is truth, and I think that it exists whether people want to turn their head toward it or not. And the thing about truth is, it's, especially as it pertains to technology and the advancement of human evolution, I think information is just discovered. There's constants that exist in reality, and the things that we find and the pieces of the puzzle that we put together were already there before. We don't invent things, really. We just discover what was already in existence. So yeah, I think there's a lot to that. Yeah, so all right, guys. Well, we're wrapping it up. Much love to you all. I really do appreciate the support. I know a lot of you guys had to find my new channel, and a lot of you guys are showing up how you used to. To the newcomers, thank you so much for being new subscribers and supporting my channel. And mad love to the old ones, man. I love you all. You guys are so great. And let's keep growing together every single day. Do some push-ups, do some sit-ups, turn the shower water cold before you get out, bend out your comfort zone, and we can talk about that every single day that you want. All right, everyone. On that note, much love to you all. Take care and have a beautiful evening. And Sid, sleep well. I'll be catching you guys on the next one. All right, everyone. Peace.